Today we will talk about the XDC network and some of the DeFi and very large financial institutions who are beginning to work more and more with the XDC network. And a lot of that, of course, revolves around R3 and its Corda platform that is heavily tied into the finance industry, which is worth at least 30 trillion a year. Not to mention that it is tied into XRP and Ripple by way of SBI, and there are a lot of things actually happening here that I talk about a lot, but today I will actually try to concentrate a bit more. So here is one of the DeFi projects that is now beginning to incorporate XDC, and it is called WeFi. They are offering some leveraged trading and a couple of other things with XDC. So if you go to the article here, which is from January 8th, 2024, we now have XDC on the WeFi protocol for simplified leveraged trading. And if you go down in here, it also includes lending and financing, leveraged trading, bridging, and token staking as well. So it now has over 5,000 active people on the Polygon and whatever that one is protocol on there. They now have the XDC protocol on there too. It is in beta testing still, but it looks as if it will move forward due to the network's impressive scalability, high performance, and interoperability with other chains. And a lot of that right now is because of the Ethereum virtual machine, but a lot of financial things are beginning to come onto the XDC network and not just in the trade finance industry. So here is a bit more about how R3 Corda and therefore XDC are attracting and are expanding to mid-tier banks and financial institutions.
Really fortunate to get some brilliant minds from the engineering team at Corda to support us in our launch. Also, we had a few of the team members of engineering team at Corda join our company early on. So we actually had we've built and host our whole enterprise Corda implementation. We have multiple nodes. We put up a node for each and every bank member. We also have a few other maker checker nodes and security nodes that we've implemented as well, and a slew of very, very interesting and impactful Corda apps. And we're definitely looking to bring this solution to a lot of the mid-tier banks in the US as they really want to start experiencing and tokenize deposits, but they don't necessarily have the capabilities to hire a whole Kotlin team to be able to run a Corda node and an implementation themselves. So we'll be looking to kind of expand those services out and to multiple mid-tier banks globally and US locally.
Right. So there's another question which is asking if what do you think about non-banking federation members like insurance companies or credit institutions?
Yeah, so I think regulated institutions are all on the table to some degree. Right now, when we're looking at federation members, we're really looking at banks and highly regulated like trust institutions. And those trust institutions obviously need a depository bank that they're operating out of.
So I cut that one a little bit short, but that really comes back to what the R3 Corda platform is all about, because it offers a variety of financial related services, and particularly in the trade finance industry. So it is not just the actual trade finance related actions itself. There are things like insurance in there as well, that are very, very important in that kind of an industry, and it can expand beyond trade finance as well. And I believe that it probably will. So here is a clip, and I won't play the whole thing, but this is beginning to get into TradeTeq, which I have talked about a lot. They are actually tokenizing certain parts of the trade finance industry right now, and are actually proving that it does work. So, it's actually this one, and I'm going to play it until about.
How is trade finance as an asset class developing? Is there anything happening?
The demand for trade finance is growing, also a good fact, but the negative in this is that especially the smaller businesses, which constitute the majority of businesses actually around the globe, still have a very hard time finding the finance they need. And everyone has, of course, heard about the infamous trade finance gap. That at some point was quoted by the Asian Development Bank at, I think, 1.5 trillion US dollars per annum. We're now at 2.5 trillion and growing. So there is still a lot to be done, but I think the overall message is this is a growing asset class. There's a lot of demand. The question is just how can we fill this?
Mark, how do you see this asset class developing on your side?
So it's important to actually understand what the asset class is, and it's important to look that it's the real economy. So it's real goods, it's coffee, it's sugar, it's vehicles, it's toys, it's actual products and services being traded, typically cross-border. And as Niels rightly said, that gap is growing. There's larger demand, and the points is why. And the reason it is because if we look back and we understand from a macro perspective, with inflation, with the number of from regulatory burdens and changes that are going on, it's meant that there's an increased demand for capital in the space. It means that there is a big funding gap. So alternative lenders are stepping in, and we're seeing more and more come into the market to basically fund into that gap, fund SMEs all the way through to large corporates, and provide greater capacity at smarter but also faster.
And all of that really revolves around what TradeTeq in particular is trying to do, which is to expand access to investing in trade finance itself to companies and high net worth individuals even who have traditionally not had access into these kinds of investments because of the credit checks, and they don't have the right kind of credit, or they just don't really have the amount of capital to be able to invest in an entire asset outright. So if we are able to actually tokenize those, then one person does not have to purchase the entire thing. It can be chunked out, and multiple people or companies can go in on that same asset, which right now is a market gap of about 2.5 trillion. And one thing that I always like to make clear is that the XDC network is tied into the DTCC as well, which is the Depository Trade Clearinghouse Corporation, I think. But they essentially process trillions in transactions every day. And the really interesting thing about that is that they have direct ties with XRP and with XLM as well, because the DTCC purchased a currency, and I believe it is now called DTCC blockchain or something like that. I don't have it off of the top of my head, but it is just another example of how interconnected XDC, XRP, and XLM